Well, we are here. It is, in fact, Friday, February 13th, 2026, Valentine's Day Eve. Just a reminder, yes, tomorrow is Valentine's Day for those that are about to forget. Hopefully, I saved you there. There's still tons of stuff I have seen personally. As of last night, I was at Grocery Outlet, saw a bunch of those little plants with some cute little Valentine's Day cards or whatever, and there was also some plushies there as well. Also, other businesses like Walmart, Target, etc. I'm sure they still have a whole bunch of Valentine's Day stuff for those last-minute shoppers. I am Peaches. If you want to get a hold of me, you can, over at 208-535-1015. I was laughing yesterday because my friend Bobby sent me a reel. And it was him. No, not even a reel. It was a video that he just sent to me on Instagram Messenger. He was talking to me about the double luge. And I forget how some of the games in the Olympics are quite silly. In the Winter Olympics, specifically. Like, there's curling, which is such a fun sport to watch, even though it's pretty weird and kind of dumb at the same time. Not to insult curling, but it is kind of, I don't know, just overall, like, who practices their entire life to be extremely good at curling? I would love to have an Olympic curler here on the show to talk about how does someone get into curling overall. But most importantly, how does somebody get into the double luge event? Have you seen this? It's quite funny looking. It's a high-speed winter sport, obviously. Two athletes in tandem. They lie tandem, one on top of the other on a single sled. It's kind of like when you and your friend want to rent sleds and you only have money for one of them, so you guys both just strap yourselves on. The lighter person goes on top. You travel feet first down an ice track at speeds exceeding almost about 87 miles per hour. Which is extremely fast. It is considered one of the fastest and most precise sliding sports, requiring intense synchronization and precise, subtle weight shifts to steer. Like, it seems dangerous at the same time. But overall, I don't know how I would feel about me in one of those, like, spandex suits. Like, you ever see those guys who ride their bicycles in the middle of the street and they have on those stupid spandex suits with their racing biking helmet on, and you're like, get out of the way, you're on a bicycle, you should go to the sidewalk. And they're not alone ever. They're like coyotes. They're always in a massive group, right? Well, I feel like I would look even more stupid in one of these outfits. Oh, man, could you imagine? I feel like the heavier you are for this sport, the worse it's going to be. I feel like the perfect team for this would be Jade and Victor, all right? If we were to have the K-Bear Winter Olympics, Jade and Victor, I might need to get Maddie to Photoshop their faces on top of these this picture I'm looking at here of these two guys on the double luge, or doing the double luge on a sled. Pretty fun stuff there. Anyway, Peach's Pit Party will continue here in just a few on K-Bear 101. There are a lot of things that I absolutely cannot stand. One of which is when someone you're trying to date or currently dating tries to test you. I've had that happen to me in the past where I thought the date went smoothly, and then all of a sudden, like an hour later, I get a text saying, hey, I tested you on this and you failed, so sorry, I'm not going to pursue anything further. And then they move on to somebody else within like the next week, right? So dumb. They're now doing these tests on TikTok, these quote unquote tests, where this one's called the leaf test. There was the bird test, the olive test. This one's the leaf test. And it's so weird because it's like you go to your significant other, you show them a leaf, and they're supposed to be so excited about it the way that you are. You know, it doesn't mean, it's like if they act the wrong way, supposedly in this case, that doesn't mean they don't care about you. It just means they're not performing enthusiasm on cue like a trained seal. It's almost like I compared it to Jigsaw, the way that, like, they want you to play a game. It's so dumb. I've hidden a trap inside this situation. If you fail it, I will silently judge you instead of using my words. It's a whole setup, really. And what really bugs me is how these tests encourage people to look for evidence that something is wrong, instead of enjoying what's actually happening. If you're at the point where you need to run covert experiments on your significant other. The problem isn't the leaf; it's the lack of trust or communication underneath it. Like like there's a lot. I think some people are taking this way seriously, though. That's the sad part. I think it's more so used as a complete joke. But then there are some people that are like, well, you weren't excited about the leaf the way that I was, so for that reason, I'm out, type of thing, right? It's Peach's Pit Party right here now with Bad Omens Spectre on K-Bear 101. Yesterday, I talked about that fatberg in Australia. I believe it was Sydney, I think. A fatberg is like this basic sewage backup pile that morphs into this giant thing, and this particular fatberg is the size of 4 buses. And the city that it's in is having to do so many things to get rid of it in like 10 years completely. That's how long it's going to take to get rid of this thing because of people flushing, anything down the toilet. Sure enough, causes a whole bunch of plumbing issues, and then it makes this thing called the fatberg. And I think there was that whole thing about how there was black bubbles coming up on the beach. Well, those were sewage bubbles. This is very enticing stuff that makes you go, wow, I really needed to hear that, after eating lunch. But I'm sorry, but I just remembered like the last time I talked about that type of thing, not yesterday, but the time that I talked about it before, because I was trying to think of when exactly I talked about a fatberg last. There was that whole thing back in 2025 where Bryan Adams, his concert in Perth, was canceled after a massive fatberg, a large congealed mass of grease and waste, caused a major sewage overflow near the RAC Arena. The blockage forced a last-minute cancellation to prevent a public health risk. I forgot about that. Could you imagine canceling a show, or you see that the concert you want to go to is canceled because of a giant poop pile? Oh. Anyway, if you want to see what concerts are not canceled as of yet, make sure to check out that concert calendar at riverbendmediagroup.com/concert calendar, or just /calendar, I think, there. And you can always just find the shortcut to it via the K-Bear 101 app. Hopefully, no fatbergs building up somewhere nearby. So in Atlanta, Georgia, the autonomous vehicle company Waymo and DoorDash, they're running a pilot program where if a Waymo robotaxi ends up with the door left open by a passenger and can't roll again until it's closed, nearby DoorDash drivers get a gig offer to go and shut it. DoorDashers can get about $6.25 up front plus a $5 bonus when they complete the task. So that's where the $11.25 comes from. The reason this even exists is because some Waymo cars don't have automatic doors. If a ride ends and someone forgets to close the door, the car literally won't continue until it's shut. So instead of Waymo trying to handle it with employees, they're alerting those gig workers nearby with DoorDash. Now, I was thinking about this. It was making me laugh because I've talked about this plenty of times on the show before, how those bird scooters on the Greenbelt in Idaho Falls always seem to piss people off. And there's every summer, there's at least like a couple posts talking about how annoying those bird scooters are. And they're just bird scooters. And I feel like anytime something new comes to the area, tons of people are going to complain about it around here. I've talked about drone Amazon delivery. Someone's bound to shoot one of those drones down and be like, I thought it was a bird invading into my property. Or no, I thought it was the government invading into my property type of thing. I can only imagine if somehow, some way, Waymo made its way to East Idaho, and all these people start freaking out about driverless vehicles, saying they should be a crime, outlawed or whatever. There was that whole story about that one dude that was throwing bird scooters into the Snake River, and he got arrested because of it. And there were so many people going, my hero, a dude was throwing bird scooters. How mad do you have to be about something in order to throw it into the river? Like, it's just a scooter. It's really nothing else. Like, I do find it annoying myself every single time I walk the Greenbelt during the spring, summer months. And sure enough, I have my headphones in. I'm listening to music. I'm walking by myself for the most part. And all of a sudden, I just feel a whoosh right next to me, and someone's going at top speed on one of those expensive scooters. I mean, if they're willing to pay that money, that ridiculous rate to go on a scooter, good for them. Well, the 2026 Daytona 500 is this Sunday at 12:30 our time. Will be broadcast live on Fox. Many NASCAR fans will be keeping an eye on Kyle Busch, who starts in the pole position. He's 0 for 20 all time at the Daytona 500, the longest active losing streak in the Great American Race. It's NBA All-Star Weekend with the actual All-Star games, plural, tipping off on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. our time. This year, there are 3 All-Star teams. 2 teams are made up of American-born players. The third team is made up of international players. And the 3 squads will play a round-robin tournament. The first round features 3 12-minute games. After those 3 games are played, the 2 teams with the best records will play one last 12-minute championship game to determine this year's All-Star winner. They're really trying their hardest to keep All-Star Weekend appealing, but I don't feel like it's working. I feel like you need to have a realistic, just one game. Everybody's on the teams that they get voted for, that type of thing. Just keep it classic. Keep it intense. Don't have them score 200 points because nobody's playing defense. Just keep it to be an intense, fun game, right? But keep it entertaining at the same time. The Philadelphia Phillies cut their outfielder, Nick Castellanos, yesterday. Soon after being released, Castellanos wrote and posted a goodbye letter on Instagram in which he explained the events that led to his eventual release, including him bringing a Presidente beer into the dugout during a game against the Marlins, which he called the Miami incident. In the end, his teammates stopped him from taking a sip, but that didn't stop the Phillies from cutting him. I guess that's a big deal. Oh, professional baseballer can't bring a beer into the dugout. All right. That is it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on K-Bear 101. It's not like, Babe Ruth smoked cigars and ate hot dogs the entire game. That was entirely his diet. Cigars and glizzies. So the late actor Val Kilmer, the guy from Top Gun, Batman Forever, Tombstone, is actually in a new movie called Canyon of the Dead. What a great title for a guy who's actually dead, even though he passed away back in April of last year. That's happening because the filmmakers used AI. Here we go, anti-AI crusade. They used AI technology to digitally recreate him for the role he had signed up for before he died. Can you imagine? They sort of resurrect you in a way like you're not allowed to be dead. No, we need you for this movie that you signed on before you just selfishly passed away, you jerk. His family gave their blessing to do it, and the movie is being shown to potential distributors right now at the European film market. He's shown alongside a whole cast of live actors like Tom Felton, Abigail Breslin, so it's not just a standalone digital cameo. This is not the first time Kilmer's likeness has been used with AI either. Before he died, he worked with a voice AI company for Top Gun Maverick to recreate his voice because cancer had affected his ability to speak. It's one of those things that feels like a new frontier in how movies use AI to bring people back for performances they didn't finish, and people are definitely talking about what that means for acting and ethics moving forward. I was just thinking about, can you imagine seeing Charles Bronson in a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? I mean, now we have the technology to bring these people back who have been long gone. Could you imagine James Dean and, let's say, what's a good heartthrob of today, huh? Tom Holland, maybe, I guess. Try to pair these actors that you think would work so well together. It would be like a dream movie scenario. You got Denzel Washington, who's still alive, and you got, I don't know, James Earl Jones back from the dead. Oh, that'd be so cool. Could you edit their appearance? Could you make them all of a sudden muscular? Is that too morbid to just change them physically? I mean, they still have the face, voice, and everything, but it's just all of a sudden James Earl Jones comes back as this I don't know, Lou Ferrigno type Hulk character, and he has that majestic voice still. That'd be pretty cool to see. Sometimes you need to remind people that it's just a game, right? Sports are sports no matter what level. Professional, even if you're watching your kids. I do love, though, those compilations of parents getting extremely upset with the umpires, the referees, other parents, etc. And you see them just go absolutely berserk. They start throwing hands at another parent. They start, trash talking how terrible their kid is, that sort of thing. Oh, it's fun to watch, but to be a part of, you feel silly afterwards, right? I can only imagine how dumb these people feel. I was looking at the story here about how a Florida pickleball brawl, that's a tough thing to say, pickleball brawl, involving up to 20 people, results in paddles to the face and felony charges. These people are not young either. One guy is 63, another one's 51, and there's also a 70-year-old man that decided to join in on the fun as well. Because, pickleball is predominantly popular with the older crowd. I mean, it's popular with all ages, but I have to say, after going back home and seeing the tennis center right next to my parents' place and seeing the ages of people filling up that place to play pickleball on Sunday morning. Man, oh man, was that place just filled to the brim with boomers ready to play some pickleball and ready to throw some hands. In the 911 call for this particular story, one guy had blood all over his face, all because of a pickleball mishap, right? It's better than just sitting at home, but still, imagine the embarrassment afterwards. Like, how'd you just get arrested? Well, I decided to go a little extra crazy. I got a little out of hand when it came to my pickleball match. It's Peach's Pit Party right here on K-Bear 101. You should seriously consider doing the Frosty Footsteps 5K Saturday, March 14th at the Snake River Landing waterfront. It's not one of those random fun runs where you get a t-shirt and you forget about it. The whole point is to walk in the shoes of people in our community who are dealing with homelessness, especially in the cold. It's meant to make you feel it a little, not just really think about it, but to really see it through their perspective. And the part that really matters, 100% of the proceeds goes straight to the Idaho Falls Rescue Mission, their programs, their shelters, real help for real people here in town. Riverbend Media Group, we're looking for sponsors, participants, and volunteers. So whether you want to run it, walk it, just help out, there's a way to be involved. It's one morning, a couple miles, but it actually makes a huge difference. We talk all the time about wanting to support local things right here. This is exactly that. It's simple, it's meaningful, it directly helps people in our community. Sign up and do it. Walkinthecold.com. That's where you can find all the details on it. The Frosty Footsteps 5K, again, Saturday, March 14th at the Snake River Landing waterfront. Let's play some From Ashes to New, Drag Me on K-Bear 101. I didn't realize we were up for Idaho's Best until yesterday when Victor posted about it. And I said, sure, let me just share the link as well. Idaho's Best of 2025. Please vote for us. Please vote for not only the best radio station category, but please also vote for Victor for best radio show. Both of those are up. If you go to the link on the posts, I believe it's everywhere on Facebook at KBear 101 FM as well. There should be a post there. I believe it's also on Victor's page. It's also on my page at Brendan Peach. Should be right there at the top with the link in the comment section. You click on that, search radio on the link, and then you just vote for K-Bear 101 and also the Victor Wilt Show. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. I did see a comment from RJ on my specific post saying you guys stopped playing a bunch of Eminem and Daft Punk, so I don't know if I can't vote for this. You know, well, I just played some Eminem for you, RJ. Please vote. All right, Idaho's Best 2025. Please vote for us. I feel like this is a great dilemma to have. I was just talking with Aubrey on the phone because the weather, of course, it's all nice and pretty for the past couple of weeks. We even took a walk. It felt like a spring day a couple days back. I think it was last Sunday, maybe? I'm not exactly sure when we took this walk around the Greenbelt, but it felt so nice out. And then, of course, what do I see on Facebook? These overly excited weather people going, oh my goodness, this snow front is headed our way. Be prepared for a whole lot of dumping, you know? And then I check out the weather, and we're supposed to drop from a high of like 52 degrees on Monday to then 42 to then 32 to then 29. And of course, next Sunday, it kind of warms back up. And I'm hoping for the best, knocking on wood, because next Sunday, the 22nd, is the Bad Omens, Beartooth, and President show at the Delta Center, which I still need to bother Live Nation about giving me those tickets for those winners, because I've tried like at least 3 times now and they haven't said anything. And it's like, do you think they're purposely ignoring me, or do you think just giving me the tickets right away should be better, or should be the easiest way to do it? I just don't understand how horrible, how Live Nation can be just so horrible all the time. But I remember the last time I tried driving to Salt Lake City for Beartooth, Sleep Theory, Invent Animate, and I think The Plot in You was also on that lineup. I'm not exactly sure, but that was going to be one great show, and I had this whole plan to go interview Caleb Shomo, and what happens then? The worst snowstorm ever, not ever, but the worst snowstorm of that entire year just dumped like 2 feet of snow on Idaho Falls and the surrounding area, and it was hard to even leave my street, let alone leave for Salt Lake City. And there were still some listeners that drove 6 hours to Salt Lake to go to that show. People are committed to go to concerts. So yeah, check out that concert calendar. The Bad Omen show is on there. So many other shows. riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar. I'm still trying to figure out if I should go to the Bad Omen show, weather permitting, or should I just skip that one and hope that it gets a little bit warmer around mid-March on the 13th, because I really want to go see Nothing More, Catch Your Breath, Archers, and Doobie at the Union Event Center in Salt Lake. Nothing More, one of my all-time favorite bands. That show is also on our concert calendar. Again, you can also find the shortcut to that concert calendar on our app, the K-Bear 101 app. Peach's Pit Party, that's Dead Hate Me, right here on K-Bear 101. And if you hate your employer, you want something new, you want, I don't know, maybe a change of path with your career. You want to, I don't know what the deal is with you. If you want to just try a new job, be hired somewhere else. Anyway, if you're serious about getting a job, check out hireeastidaho.com. The whole site is completely redesigned. It's all local companies, not random out-of-state listings that waste your time. Local jobs from local companies. And this week's job highlight, spotlight, whatever it's called, Melaleuca is hiring a quality assurance specialist / inspector for mornings at $16.10 an hour. You know, Melaleuca, a prominent company here in the area, a great company. If you're good with details and don't mind hands-on work, this is solid for you. You'd be inspecting products, making sure everything meets quality standards, documenting results, basically being the reason things don't leave the building messed up. It's steady morning hours too, which means you're done earlier in the day. If you've ever said, I just need something stable, this is that kind of opportunity. And the best part, hireeastidaho.com is free to use. It's all local jobs, new ones added all the time, and you're not competing with the entire country, just people right here. So instead of scrolling, go apply. At least give yourself the shot. Again, hireeastidaho.com. Okay, I need you to stay with me on this. A 69-year-old woman by the name of Brenda Ogden, my least favorite first name ever, Brenda, hate that name, is swimming at Bridlington Beach in England. Waves knock her down because, you know, she's close to 70. Her custom titanium prosthetic leg, worth over $2,500, gets swept out into the ocean. Gone. The sea wins, end of story, right? Well, no. 10 months later, a fossil hunter is walking along the shore in Atwick, which is about 14 miles away, and sees something jammed between the rocks. Not a fossil, not driftwood. It's, in fact, Brenda's leg. How does that come back? It's the North Sea, right? That thing should be at the bottom somewhere, smashed, buried, halfway to another country. Instead, it just gently reappears on a beach like it, needed a break from Brenda, decided it was time to head home. Somehow, it still had the sock on it. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm just saying, do we fully believe it? 10 months in saltwater, tides, storms, boats, marine life, it pops up wedged in rocks 14 miles away in almost recognizable condition. Also, what are the odds a fossil hunter finds it? Not a random tourist, not a kid, a fossil hunter, the one person scanning the shoreline like it's their job, right? And within hours of posting it online, people connect it back to Brenda. That part feels modern. The ocean returning it feels supernatural. I just don't. I'm like, do I believe this? I mean, 10 months later, you get your leg back. Would she have a replacement leg already, or is she like hopping around on one leg this entire time, and then finally she's like, oh yes, I can walk normally again. These types of things pop up every year. I'm shocked I didn't see that story about how the San Antonio Zoo will name a cockroach after your ex for you. I do see something similar here from the Animal Rescue League of Iowa. This is their Valentine's Day promotion. For $15, they'll name a feral cat after your ex, spay or neuter it, and release it as a part of their trap, neuter, return program. Some good old TNR, right? 5 names for $50. 10 for $100, bulk discount heartbreak. If you have 10 exes that are, I'm sure it's like 10 different cats named for one ex, maybe. I don't know. But if you have 10 exes that you're all mad at, it might be your fault. It's a little dumb promotion. It is kind of clever, but it also raises money, helps control the cat population. That part, legitimately great. But let's talk about the other part. If you're pulling out your card and going, oh yeah, my ex is getting neutered today. What's actually happening there? Are we heated, or are we still refreshing their Instagram late at night trying to see if they post anything new with somebody new and you're sitting there seething with anger? Because if you were really over it, you wouldn't need the symbolic revenge cat, right? There's something kind of wild about needing that little hit of justice, like it's supposed to give you inner peace, as if somewhere deep down you're thinking this changes everything. It doesn't. The cat has no idea. Your ex definitely does not know. And you're still talking about them, still thinking about them. Is it a smart fundraising idea? Absolutely. It's getting attention. Suppose it supports a great cause. That's a win. But if we're being honest, the real question isn't about the cats. It's why you're still that emotionally invested, right? Let's do some sleep token caramel on Peach's Pit Party. I just realized, of course, that tomorrow's Valentine's Day. I didn't just realize that. I just realized what used to happen in high school when it got close to Valentine's Day. You could send out singing grams or something like that. It might have been like a griffin gram because the mascot of the high school was a griffin, something along the lines of that. It was a silly little thing where you paid like $15 and then the choir, some of the choir kids would come to that person's class that you sent the gram to and then sing for them and hand them over a little treat of sorts. And I remember my friend Eric did that for a girl he really, really liked. But honestly, the girl did not like him back. So that I think that awkward photo is still on social media on his profile from many years ago. And I was laughing at that back then. I'm still laughing about it now, just thinking like this girl's like, oh, how do I shut him down properly? And my other friend Christian, supposedly his friends would trick him, or they would constantly send him singing grams and just completely interrupt the class. Because it is kind of embarrassing. I mean, you're sitting there and you're trying to take notes or whatever. You're trying to learn about the subject. Next thing you know, the choir comes in, starts singing to you in front of everybody. And everyone's like, ooh, who likes this guy? Who likes this girl? Who sent that, huh? That type of thing. And it's just awkward. Do they still do that type of thing? I do miss the good old elementary school days where we used to get Valentines from everybody in the class. Why don't we still do that? It's free candy. Now for Valentine's Day as an adult, when it's the day after Valentine's Day and all that candy goes on sale, that's what I'm excited about. Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, a.k.a. Brendan Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.